Hi, I'm Lee Burkeen, host of Louisiana Football TV magazine. We have a great lineup again, like we do every Tuesday night in the New Orleans market, Lafayette and Baton Rouge, and all the surrounding parishes. We've got a great lineup. We've got Ken Berthelot, voice of the Tulane Green Wave for many years, Nicholls State. Went to Louisiana Tech. We're going to tell you a little bit about Ken. We've got Scotlandville's head coach, Ken Hilton, and his 2 recruits, and also Edward Brown, one of the top recruits in the state from Westgate, is calling in, and the legendary Don Shouse from West Monroe High School will be calling in later in the show as well. We'll see you in just a moment. We're going to take a commercial break. You're watching Louisiana Football TV magazine.
A sports injury can put you out of action. But your game's not over because you drafted the right team. At the Bone and Joint Clinic, you're treated by experts in sports medicine, experienced therapists and staff, and the latest equipment and services in a comfortable environment where you're treated like family. Because we want to see you suit up again. The Bone and Joint Clinic.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. And for over 35 years, ITI has been a leader in technical education here in Baton Rouge.
ITI's medical division offers hands-on training in 3 new medical programs: medical billing and coding, medical management, and medical assistant. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
So let ITI help you discover a better life. Call now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from long drivers to unlucky drivers. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name. The physical therapy choice of golfers, injured drivers, and everyone in between.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore. Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
As a designer here at Bassett, I've helped all kinds of people find the custom furniture they really want. Beautiful fabrics and leathers? Got 'em. A choice of finishes? Sure. The best color combos? No problem. Whatever you're looking for, I can help you find it, and we'll have it ready in 30 days. Custom furniture from Bassett. It's a great way to make your home your own.
Check out Papa John's Pizza, our sponsor. Feed our staff every week, our camera guys, me, Ken Berthelot, the coaches, the players every week. They do a wonderful job of supporting high school football. We are really proud to have Papa John's as our sponsor every week. And they give us plenty of pizza, a lot of pizza, some of the best pizza that you'll eat. Remember to order that pizza this Saturday, Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday. And some Tuesday nights you have football, right? Even Monday night. I think we're on that 7-day TV schedule now in the United States where you have football games 7 days a week. Is that amazing? I remember growing up, you only had football on Monday night and Saturday and Friday. Wow. We're going to go ahead and go to the phone lines. Our first guest is one of the biggest sleeper recruits in the state of Louisiana. His name is Edward Brown. He's a linebacker out of Westgate High School in New Iberia, Louisiana. 6'2", 220 pounds, runs a 4.5 in the 40. Edward, you're on Louisiana Football TV magazine. Edward?
Hey.
Yeah, how are you, Edward?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Have you ever been on TV before?
No, I've never been on TV before.
Hey, look, I want to go ahead and ask you some questions because the show is watched in New Orleans,
Okay.
Lafayette, and Baton Rouge, and a lot of people see it, and you're having a great season for a great team. First of all, tell everybody about your team, Westgate and New Iberia, your record right now and who you're going to play this Friday night.
Our record right now is we are 5-4 right now.
And who's the opponent this Friday night?
Sir?
Who are you going to play this Friday?
This Friday night we're playing HL Bourgeois.
Okay, from Houma. Okay. Edward, how many sacks do you have on the season? Do you know how many sacks do you have?
On the season right now, last time I checked, I had 8 sacks.
8, and it seems like 90 hurries to me, because I've watched you on film in several games. You line up as a stand-up DN, but you're really an outside linebacker because you're 6'2". Jamal Sam's a great player on your team. You know, Denarius Antone's a great player on your team. You got a sophomore offensive tackle that's 6'5", 310 that runs a 4.8 40. He'll be a national recruit. I mean, you're on a team that has played John Curtis. You've played some tough opponents. So really, in my opinion, you have a 5-4 record, but you're on a dangerous team in a good way in the playoffs. Don't you think your team is one of the best teams in the state?
Yeah, that's what I think about my team. We're one of the best teams in the state.
You know, team speed-wise, we have another team on tonight, Scotlandville, locally. They're one of the fast teams in Baton Rouge, but I look at all the schools in Lafayette, and I know Acadiana's really good. I know St. Thomas More is really good. Breaux Bridge is good. But I really have to say this. I think Westgate has the same amount of speed as Breaux Bridge. What do you think of that comment?
Yeah, I think we play our best, and we try to compete with the best teams.
Edward, tell everybody the colleges that you like. I know you have a lot of colleges calling you lately because you've had a phenomenal senior season. You've put on a lot of weight for your senior season. You have a 3.0 GPA. Your mom told me the other day you just took the ACT. You're waiting for that score to come back. Who do you like? And tell everybody about some of the offers that you have so far.
Okay, a few colleges I like. I like UL, Tulane, Southern Miss.
Okay.
And UL Monroe.
Did any of these schools come out and offer you a scholarship so far early in recruiting?
I'm sure I couldn't hear you.
Okay. And who is your favorite college?
My personal favorite college is Georgia Tech.
Your mom told me that. Tell everybody about your camp experience. Your mom paid for you to go to a camp this past summer and said that you fell in love with Georgia Tech. Is that right? What was that like at Georgia Tech? Why did you like Georgia Tech so much?
I mean, I felt at home over there. They treated me real good, and I believe I had competition, but I think I stuck out.
You know, watching you play the game as a DN, and I know you're a linebacker, but you stand up and you run. I mean, you're incredibly fast. You have 8 sacks, but it seems like you have 35, 40 sacks on the season. What do you enjoy most about playing defense? Edward, what do you enjoy most about playing defense? Edward?
Just tackling, getting to hit people.
You like to hit people. Look, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I wanted people to know who you were and where you play ball, because outside of Lafayette, a lot of people, they don't know about Westgate. It's in New Iberia, and I wanted to say, look, you know, good luck to you the rest of the season. I know your team
thank you.
will be in the playoffs. Good luck to you, okay? All right, good luck to you this Friday night. That was Edward Brown.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Edward. A linebacker from Westgate, one of the best players in the state of Louisiana. You're going to see a linebacker later in the show, Henry Taylor, who will be coming on with his teammate Domino, one of the best slot receivers, athletes in Baton Rouge. Kind of like a Warwick Dunn type, a little taller. You know, a sleeper from Baton Rouge that gives defensive coordinators nightmares, you know, every week when they have to try and defend this kid running across either as a receiver or running back for Scotlandville. We got Ken Hilton that's coming on, and head coach Don Shows from West Monroe, and Ken Berthelot we're going to introduce right after this break.
Can buying furniture really be fun? Sure. Come into Bassett, and an in-store designer like me will be happy to help. Just tell me a little about yourself and what you're looking for. And and then I'll give you a bunch of great ideas. And our design help is free. Who could say no to that? Come into Bassett and discover the easy, affordable way to make a beautiful home.
State Farm agents Adam McCarty in Gonzales and Derek Morrell in New Orleans are there for you. Call today.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
Arrive to the game in style in a new or certified Peretti family vehicle.
Jaguar, with timeless elegance, is the sportiest, sexiest luxury automobile on the road. Land Rover is rough enough for all your hunting needs, yet refined enough to deserve valet parking. Mazda will connect you with your inner driver at a whole new level of intensity.
Remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you get to the game. Peretti, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mazda, Baton Rouge, New Orleans.
Have you made the right call?
I made the right call.
It's easy to do. Just touch the tones.
I made the right call.
If you want to talk to the pros, you've got to make the right call.
I made the right call.
It's not that kind of call. I'm talking about the professionals at Gage Telephone. From excellent products like Toshiba to great service after the sale, make the right call. Gage Telephone, 753-4243.
A sports injury can put you out of action. But your game's not over because you drafted the right team. At the Bone and Joint Clinic, you're treated by experts in sports medicine, experienced therapists and staff, and the latest equipment and services in a comfortable environment where you're treated like family because we want to see you suit up again. The Bone and Joint Clinic.
Check out LAFootballMagazine.com. You can order the magazine in these different cities that you see above, the different locations. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Mandeville, Shreveport. You can still get the preview, and also we do a story every day. Today's story is John Booty, Athletic Director, Calvary Baptist, 2A School in Shreveport, Louisiana. A little bit about his life. John David Booty played for the Minnesota Vikings and USC Trojans. His sons, Josh Booty, played for LSU, the Oakland Raiders, the Cleveland Browns. So a little bit about his family, having 3 sons that played high school football, all quarterbacks, and to have 2 of them go pro. One, Josh Booty, was a National Player of the Year. I think the only quarterback, and since, you know, I mean, back in the day, Bradshaw was probably Player of the Year, but you didn't have USA Today teams. You didn't have the parade teams like you do now with the different publications ranking kids. We're going to go to Ken Berthelot, our next guest, but before we go to him, I want to introduce him and talk a little bit about his background. He's not a rookie being in front of the camera. Several years at Tulane doing play-by-play for Tulane football when they had Sean King, quarterback, went to the Buccaneers and had a long career under Tommy Bowden. Weldie Moore was later, Weldie Moore from Bel Air. You had several great ones, Roydell Williams from East St. John High School, for the viewers in Laplace. Nicholls State, he was Associate Athletic Director at Nicholls State for several years, as well at Tulane. But I'm going to let Ken Berthelot tell you about all those years and all those good times with Tulane Nicholls. And first of all, I want to just say thank you for being on the show today, tonight.
Thank you for having me as a guest.
And coming up from Hammond, Louisiana, where you live in Hammond.
Post-Katrina.
Right.
Post-Katrina. Well, first of all,
New Orleans native.
New Orleans native, born and raised in the Lower Ninth Ward and the parish, and St. Bernard Parish. and lived most of my life in New Orleans. And it's a pleasure for me to be on your show, not only to be your guest on this show, but also to return home to Cox Cable. For 15 years when I was at Tulane, Cox 4 New Orleans, originated all of our Tulane coaches shows, football, basketball, and for about half of those years, baseball. So the Walter Ball Patties, Brad Grunmeyers, Tony Orlandos, and the people who made that show
Not the
work.
actor, but
no, not the owner. That was without Dawn. That's the one we had with us. But they were a big part of helping us originate and put on some very, very good Tulane coaches shows. So Cox has always been very close to my heart.
Well, you've been all over the place. You're born in New Orleans, raised in New Orleans. You lived in Thibodaux, obviously worked for Nicholls State. You're in Hammond, but you went to Louisiana Tech College and lived in Ruston.
Graduated
back
from,
when Terry Bradshaw here was currently at the school?
Yeah, graduated from Holy Cross High School with one of the greatest football teams, a football team that sent many players to LSU, including the Truaxes and Barry Wilson, who's a coach at Holy Cross right now, and Butch Dewey, and players like Glenn Smith was running back on that team. And that's 4 of probably about 8 or 9. But I went to Louisiana Tech. A lot of my friends were majoring in engineering. Went up there and tried that and ended up in another major very quickly. But Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback, and it was such a pleasure to watch him play for 4 years. And wow, if we both got out at the same time, I wasn't very close to Terry, but he got all the money, and I was left with the hair. I'd trade him if he wants to trade. I can promise you that. He was such a special talent. And, you know, it's really amazing. Had he gone to LSU, you just don't know what would have happened on that level. Because remember, at that time, Louisiana Tech was not at the same level of football that they are. They were truly a smaller college at the time, but God, he was a special talent.
And it would have been prior to Burt Jones, because Burt came in a little bit later.
Yes, he did.
That would have been a heck of a back-to-back if that would have happened.
It was, and he did amazing things at Louisiana Tech at that time. Put Louisiana Tech on the map as a small college, and it just continued to grow from there. So they can thank Terry.
You know, I was up there, Ken, 2 summers ago, and I was hanging out, meeting with the new coach. And they, you know, he dedicated all his rings from the Steelers, from the 4 Super Bowl wins, his shoes, all his autographed footballs, his jerseys. He gave everything to Tech, and it's all in the glass. When you walk in to the football department, I mean, it's a big Hall of Fame with Terry. It's like Terry's place.
It is, and they probably should call it Bradshaw Stadium now instead of IA Stadium, but just amazing memories. So it was a fun place to spend 5 years of my life actually. I did some postgraduate work there too.
Talk about Tulane. How long from when to when at Tulane?
Tulane from 1985 to 2001, all but one of those years as the voice of the Green Wave in football, and it was a very special time. Got to work with Mac Brown, Greg Davis, Buddy Stevens, Tommy Bowden, and Chris Selfo for a year before I left to do something. Got out of it altogether for a little while, then missed it, and ended up getting back into college athletics as an associate AD at Nicholls State. Back
in the day, I remember watching, I don't know, eating peanuts or pizza, I don't know, and watching games, and you were doing play-by-play, because I enjoyed watching Sean King play. You know, and Tommy Bowden's offense was so exciting at Tulane.
You know, with Tommy Bowden and Sean King were so special because Buddy Stevens recruited Sean King, and he went 4-19 his first 2 years there, and then all of a sudden goes 19-4 for the next 2 years. So really an amazing turnaround of the Tommy Bowden, who proved you can win, and you can win quickly at Tulane.
We have a caller, a legend. I think this is Kenneth Marshall. Kenneth.
We have a caller.
Kenneth, do you have a question? Turn your TV down just a little bit, Kenneth.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, Kenneth. How's it going tonight, man? Yeah, do you have a question for me or Ken, Kenneth?
It's doing pretty good.
Okay.
Well, you know, the 5A football right now, I think
we're having a little trouble hearing you, Kenneth.
Westgate is going to be up in that top notch, you know, 5A football.
With the power rankings, they should be. You know, we had Edward Brown that you know, he was on earlier. I know you know Edward Brown really well. But Ken, if you might want to turn your TV down just a little bit so we can hear you a little bit better. Turn it off, actually, so we can hear you, because it's kind of in the background trying to hear you. But I know you want to talk Westgate football.
Okay, now you can hear me better now?
I can hear you now. But I know you want to talk about Westgate.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Okay, I can hear you. Kenneth, what do you think Westgate's going to do? How far do you think they'll go in the playoffs? Okay, we're going to get back and
to me, I think they'll be somewhere in that semifinal and they're going to the state championship game. I mean, you know, we're looking at that with Brown playing, and you know, he didn't play against Carencro, but you know, watching them last week, you know, they held Carencro to a good solid game. I mean, with him playing, they probably would have been a whole lot better.
Well, and I think John Curtis was a good team to play early in the year to kind of gauge where you are and to become a better team later in the season. I'm all about playing the tough teams early, and I think that's the smartest thing that Brian did, the head coach, fine, of Westgate, is schedule a tough schedule, come out of it with not a lot of injuries. They're 5-4, but they're going to have a lot of PowerPoints, and I agree, Kenneth. I think they're going to do well in the playoffs. I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. But we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to have the legendary head coach.
Also, it's good to see Ken Berthelot. He's a Nichols State alumni as well as I am.
All right, Kenneth. I know you went to Nichols and you played lineman and you were pretty good. And we'll mention that too when we come back. We're going to have more of Ken Berthelot and head coach Don Schaus from West Monroe when we come back.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore, Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
State Farm agents Adam McCarty in Gonzales and Derek Morell in New Orleans are there for you. Call today.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. And for over 35 years, ITI has been a leader in technical education here in Baton Rouge. Our commitment is to help people just like you attain a better life through technical training.
Get hands-on real-life training in one of 9 career areas with flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
So let ITI help you discover a better life. Call now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life. Have you made the right call?
I made the right call.
It's easy to do. Just touch the tones.
I made the right call.
If you want to talk to the pros, you've got to make the right call.
I made the right call.
It's not that kind of call. I'm talking about the professionals at Gage Telephone. From excellent products like Toshiba to great service after the sale, make the right call. Gage Telephone, 753-4243.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from Grand Slam hitters to grandparents. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, the physical therapy choice of baseball players, grandparents, and everyone in between.
All right, our college and high school notes. We can't ignore the LSU-Alabama game. We've got to talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and mention the keys to victory for LSU. 1, I've watched Alabama in 7 games this year. The offense is very simple. Stop Trent Richardson, which you can't do, slow him down. But there's 3 things they do on 3rd down. And I predict LSU's defense is so fast, they swarm the ball. There's going to be a lot of lost yardage on 1st and 2nd down. There's going to be some good gains from Richardson and Eddie Lacy. There's going to be a lot of 3rd and 3s. There's going to be a lot of 3rd and 2s. There's going to be a lot of 3rd and 4s. And Bama does 3 things. They throw to the tight end. And they've got 2 tight ends that are All-American candidates. Chris Smelly, 6'3", 230, runs a 4.6, has great hands. They have a kid named Williams, Michael Williams, at 6'6", 270, runs a 4.8, great hands. They run these guys underneath, and they get 5- and 6-yard gains. They pick the 1st down up, and then what they do, they wear you down with Trent Richardson. So you have to stop Alabama on 3rd and 2s and 3s, and it's going to come down to that. And I know watching TV this Saturday, LSU's good enough to slow Trent down, and they just have to cover the tight end. Bring the DBs up, maybe a nickel, maybe Tyrann Mathieu, maybe Thurl Simone, matched up against these tight ends. And they like a kid by the name of Marquise Mays. He's a 5'8", 170-pound slot guy that kind of hides, does slant routes. They throw 6-yard passes to him. They just keep moving the chains. Bama's not very exciting to watch on offense. They're just going to run right at you and wear you down. But the key is 3rd and 2s and 3s to control that clock, and that's what Nick Saban loves to do. If LSU does that, I'll predict they will, and they're going to win by 7. Okay? We're going to go ahead and go to our legendary head coach, Don Showles of West Monroe High School. Don, glad to have you on the show tonight.
Well, thank you very much. My pleasure.
I know in your busy schedule, I mean, you work several hours a day to keep that Rebel program, you know, on top. And, you know, we've been fortunate enough to have you on our show 2 or 3 times. But I want to go ahead and get right into the season, Don. It's been a tough year for you, man. I mean, you started off right before the season. If you could share with everybody, I don't think you even knew you were going to coach this year, right?
Well, you never know. I mean, you know, that's true for all of us. You don't ever know what's in store for us. You know, the only thing I'm thankful for, the good Lord just wasn't ready for me yet.
Yeah, but you know, people in Baton Rouge, if they don't know, I mean, you had surgery. You stronger than ever, I take it. You know, still loving football as much as ever before. Ken Berthelot, who knows who you are, Don, might want to ask you a question or two. When you were coaching at some of your high schools back in the day when you were getting started, Ken might have a question for you.
Goodness, Coach. The last time we talked, you were being honored by the All-State Sugar Bowl's Hall of Fame induction group, and you had come down for the ceremony, and we were talking about some days when you had started your career way back in Ruston, Louisiana.
That was lots of light years ago, that's for sure.
Now, if I remember right, Coach, and maybe, you know, I've been around for a long time, too. I was around when Moses parted the Red Sea. So, but weren't you one heck of a bowler at that time?
Yeah, you know, I had a chance to go on the, I guess, on the Pro Tour bowling there twice in my lifetime. But, you know, after a while, I just, you know, I got married and I quit bowling, but I certainly enjoyed it.
Don, I remember you at Ruston Lanes throwing one of the ugliest, dirtiest white bowling balls, and you'd just knock them all down, and you'd look up, and yeah, you'd be knocking about a 270, 280 every game, and said, man, and you know what? You coach football just like you bowled at the highest level, with just developing winners all the time.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say that. It's just I've been very blessed. I've been surrounded by, you know, good assistant coaches, and I've had good kids, good parents, and good administrations, and you know, it takes a lot of people going in the same direction to have the success that I've had.
Coach, I want to ask you. You know, every year's tough. I know you play that SEC West schedule up in Monroe, you know, the Nevilles and, you know, all the top programs in the Monroe area. There's not many weak teams. You know that. You always schedule tough teams. I know this past week you had a Florida school come into West Monroe. I wanted to ask you, I know you schedule a lot of East Texas teams, Mississippi teams, but what made you come up with scheduling a team from the state of Florida?
Well, you know, I had a promoter to call me and ask me would I play. It was Don Bosco at first, and I said, sure, we'll play anybody. And I didn't even know who Don Bosco was. Yeah. So we got on the internet, pulled him up, and I thank goodness they didn't have an opening. So, and the team in Florida had an opening, and you know, I didn't know anything about them, but. You know, he told me that they were a good football program. They had won 39 games in a row and 3 consecutive state championships, and they probably are going to win their 4th consecutive state championship here in a couple of weeks. But But I told him, yeah, we'll play, and so that's how it all came about.
And you won Friday night against this Florida team. We had one of our guys there at the game, but I want to ask you, I mean, out of all the teams you've coached, this year's team, I had a chance to see you against a couple of your early on games that didn't go so well, you know, and if you lose them right, lose them early. But your quarterback, Michael Mims, a phenomenal athlete at quarterback, and I know you had to replace Paul Turner, who signed with LSU at quarterback. You've got that big D line with James McFarland and Lathan and your big nose guard England and all those linebackers. But what's the difference between this team, Don, and the last 3 or 4 teams that have been defensive heavy for you?
Well, you know, I think ironically we may be better defensively. I gave up 2 of my starters on offense to the defense in the secondary, and we may have our best secondary that we've ever had, and we're playing lights out up front defensively with McFarland, and you got Latham, and then you got England, and then we got Tyson, and then we have another kid that's really come on, Uragas, and the thing about it is Tyson's getting some carries at tailback, and, you know, he's averaging about 20 yards a carry.
Yeah, and Jonas is, what, Coach, about 220?
And he's close to about 20. I mean, he's carried the ball like the other night. He carried it 5 times, and I think he had 60 yards.
Yeah. Coach, can you stay online and come back a little bit longer through the break? Can you come back?
Sure.
Okay, Coach, we'll get back, and we got Ken Berthelot. Later in the show, we've got Ken Helton, the head coach from local Scotlandville High School, and his 2-star recruits that we're going to have at the end to promote. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
Have you made the right call?
I made the right call.
It's easy to do. Just touch the tones.
I made the right call.
If you want to talk to the pros, you've got to make the right call.
I made the right call.
It's not that kind of call. I'm talking about the professionals at Gage Telephone. From excellent products like Toshiba to great service after the sale, make the right call. Gage Telephone, 753-4243.
State Farm agents Adam McCarty in Gonzales and Derek Morrell in New Orleans are there for you. Call today.
As a designer here at Bassett, I've helped all kinds of people find the custom furniture they really want. Beautiful fabrics and leathers? Got 'em. A choice of finishes? Sure. The best color combos? No problem. Whatever you're looking for, I can help you find it, and we'll have it ready in 30 days. Custom furniture from Bassett. It's a great way to make your home your own.
A sports injury can put you out of action. But your game's not over because you drafted the right team. At the Bone and Joint Clinic, you're treated by experts in sports medicine, experienced therapists and staff, and the latest equipment and services in a comfortable environment where you're treated like family because we want to see you suit up again. The Bone and Joint Clinic.
Check out LAFootballMagazine.com. Our story of the day is John Booty, athletic director for Calvary Christian Shreveport, who got a good team this year. They actually a team to contend with. I like U High locally in 2A, and obviously John Curtis. I have John Curtis to repeat as champs this year. Evangel Christian won it last year. But I think U High locally might sneak in, and, you know, if they're not on the same bracket with John Curtis, you know, you might have a Baton Rouge team in 2A make the Dome. And don't forget about Episcopal in the same district here locally, having a chance to go deep in the playoffs too. We're going to go back to Coach Don Shows, head coach at West Monroe. Coach, Ken Berthelot has another question for you. Ken?
Don, JT Curtis just won his 500th game last Thursday night in New Orleans, one of only 2 people in the United States to win 500 games at the high school level. And you've won a bunch yourself. I'd like you just to comment on JT's 500th game, 500th win as a coach, and also what advice would be your common denominator of advice you give to your players and young coaches to help them find success in life, whether it's in athletics or anything that they do?
Well, of course, talking about JT, to me, he's an outstanding person individually, not just a coach. He's just a first-class individual. I like to think of him as a real good friend, and I've always had ultimate respect for what he has done and the way in which he coaches. You know, I'm surprised that he's never been a head coach in a college, because he's certainly very capable of doing that. And but, you know, the thing about, you know, there's no doubt the reason why he's won 500 games, and I did not know that, so congratulations on that. That's a heck of a feat. But, you know, the thing I would tell young coaches is you got to coach hard, you got to get your team to play hard, but you got to coach every minute of the day. You can't let things go undone when they're not done right. And I think so many young coaches don't take the time to coach the little things in football, stepping correctly, doing all the things that end up making a big play. And you got to do that consistently. You got to demand that, and you got to see to it that they do that. And I don't think everybody, at least, you know, take the effort and time to see that that happens.
Coach, I've got one more question for you before you go. LSU-Alabama game this week. I know that you're going to watch that game. You have 3 football players on the LSU team from your school. Will Blackwell, starting offensive guard, Borcavius Mingo, up-and-coming defensive end, and then Paul Turner, who's redshirting this year. But what do you think of you know, watching this game Saturday, and how big of a game is it to you?
Well, you know, I have another young man that's playing for LSU, Jordan Allen. And,
right.
But, you know, it just doesn't get any bigger than this. This is why I think the kids that are at LSU and the ones that are at Alabama, that's the reason they went to these 2 institutions. They definitely, in my opinion, are at the top of the totem pole. LSU's done a great job of recruiting. LSU's done the same thing. They both have great players. And, of course, being from the state of Louisiana, you know, I'm going to be pulling for those Tigers, and no question about it. Not just because I have several kids down there playing for LSU, but I like what they do. And, of course, when Nick was at LSU, I pulled for LSU then, too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to pull against Nick this week.
and, Coach, I want to give another prop to one of your former players, Dylan Day, who I think has done an outstanding job for Mississippi State, starting on the offensive line. Another former player that you coach. Coach, good luck to you for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And many, many good moments. And I don't know many coaches that can recover from heart surgery in that short a time without missing a beat. You know, like you. I mean, you're one of the best of all time, Coach. Thank you for being on.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Don. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have the head coach from Scotlandville High School right here in Baton Rouge, Ken Hilton, Baker native, Baker graduate, and also Ken Berthelot. We'll have him back. We'll take a break. We'll see you in just a minute.
Opportunity here to tell you why you need to check out ITI Technical College. You can get your technical drafting degree in less than 2 years. You get specialized technical training, work in areas like architecture, manufacturing, construction, or engineering. Get hands-on training, skills for a competitive edge, flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. Listen to Opportunity. Call ITI now or go online. It's that simple. We're your key to a better life.
At ITI, Opportunity doesn't just knock, it rocks.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from Grand Slam hitters to grandparents. Now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, the physical therapy choice of baseball players, grandparents, and everyone in between.
Arrive to the game in style in a new or certified Peretti family vehicle.
Jaguar, with timeless elegance, is the sportiest, sexiest luxury automobile on the road. Land Rover is rough enough for all your hunting needs, yet refined enough to deserve valet parking. Mazda will connect you with your inner driver at a whole new level of intensity.
Remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you get to the game. Peretti, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mazda, Baton Rouge, New Orleans.
Louisiana Office Supply is the largest stocking office product store in the South with a new 23,000 square foot showroom. For over 72 years, Louisiana Office Supply has met the demand for quality office products competitively priced with an extensive selection and knowledgeable staff. From office furniture to Post-it notes, there are supplies for every part of your office. Louisiana Office Supply, generation after generation, exceptional service since 1936.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore, Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
Check out LA Football Magazine, by the way, again. The magazine's still out, and 2 of the recruits that are in that magazine will be on the show later. A kid with the last name of Domino, one of the best skill guys in Baton Rouge, and one of the best linebackers, Taylor, for Scotlandville. We're going to introduce their head coach, Ken Hilton, in just a second, and also we still have Ken Berthelot. We never did introduce Ken, what he's doing today, and we're going to let him do that. And the game, one more thing about the Alabama-LSU game. A.J. McCarron is a redshirt sophomore from Mobile High School in St. Paul's, okay? It just seems like every year Alabama has these clone quarterbacks. Jay Barker, him, Brody Kroll. None of these guys are big-time NFL guys, but they just move the chains. Does that sound like LSU? Matt Malk, Jarrett Lee, you know, Matt Flynn, just good guys that can move the chains. And I think this game is even, but I think LSU's going to play loose because they're a team that plays with speed, all out. I think Bama's a little more uptight. You know, it's at their place. 107,000 fans, Coach, going to be at the game. Coach Ken Hilton, Scotlandville, 6-2 this year.
7-2.
I'm sorry, I took a win away. I'm sorry. And you got Walker this Friday night.
Right.
Perkins is a great player for them, Carlton Perkins. But talk about your two of your great players that will be coming up shortly that we're going to promote, 2 of your guys.
Well, I'll tell you, those 2 guys were a big part of the turnaround this year, along with the senior class. You know, I knew when I first got the job that the senior class had been through a lot as far as, you know, with a coaching change right there before the beginning, actually right at the start of the season, and had an interim coach. And then I come in, them not knowing me with a totally different system and different ideals and everything. And I think the difference in this year was the fact that we had a great off season, and you know, they became close and bought into the program, and we went to camp and, you know, kind of developed some relationships during camp, and it's carried over onto the field.
Well, I know you're going to have 2 kids come on later, but I know you've got more than 2. I mean, you got Kamani Smith, your quarterback, that's had a great year, junior quarterback. I mean, his arm is night and day to me from last year.
Well, it is. He's a senior. He's made major improvements. I mean, this summer, you know, him and Coach Brown spent a lot of time together, and he is really developing. Like I say, it starts with him. I mean, he has to be the coach on the field as far as checking, getting us into situations, getting the ball, getting it to where it belongs, following its reads, making sure that we take advantage of what we're getting.
I want to go ahead and introduce Ken. We didn't recognize what you're doing currently today. Tell everybody.
Currently, I'm the Director of Sports Programming for WHNO TV Channel 20 in New Orleans. It's a LeSea Broadcasting, Leicester Summerall Evangelistic Association station. But this show, the Louisiana Football TV Magazine, is a very big part of what we're doing in sports. We've developed a sports block Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 o'clock. We're going to expand that to 2 hours soon. And in that sports block right now, this show re-airs on Thursday nights between 6 and 7 o'clock. Monday, we have a show called Sports NOLA. Ken Trahan, former New Orleans Saint Torrance Small, got his Super Bowl ring with the New England Patriots. Brian Alley Walsh, a sports writer, and a player guest, which lately has been Ricky Jackson a few times, and Vaughn Johnson, the Dome Patrol. They're analyzing the Saints, LSU, Tulane, all of the action over the weekend. Tuesdays, we do Fellowship of Christian Athlete and a high school recruiting show. On Wednesdays, another Saint show with Bobby Hebert, Hokie Gaijon, and all of those guys, Mike Detillier. They have a lot of fun with that. Harry McCullough's been sitting in. That's down in Houma. Replayed. And then Friday, 2 hours of LSU with Tigers Roar.
Honestly, audience, I talked to Ken a pretty good bit being involved, but I didn't even know all these big names were on the station. I mean, I'm honored to be the little guy in the lineup, right? Out of all these great Hall of Famers. Coach, back to Scotlandville, your opponent Walker, 7-2. You're 7-2, not 6-2. I mean, where are you right now, do you think, in power rankings with the tough schedule that you played this year?
Oh, well, looking at Ken Ramsey after this weekend, we were ranked at 23, so we're hoping to, you know, take care of business this Friday, get a win, and kind of see where we fall. Hopefully we fall within that top 16 where we can get a home game. If not, we ought to be right around the top, you know, 17, 18, where we'll have to travel, but, you know, it'll be a pretty evenly matched seeded game right there.
I want to say something about you to the public, because all people remember wins and losses, right? They don't remember when you were losing. They just remember the wins. And I remember last year, you came in, I met you, what, 6:30 in the morning at the school, I think?
Right.
You were doing roll in the PE class, and I mean, nobody knew you, the players didn't know you, and you were from Baker, which is right, Scotlandville and Baker are right there, but you went to Baker High. But I mean, you did a phenomenal job from year 1 to year 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, it has a lot to do with
because you had a tough season last year, and people don't remember that.
Right, but like I said, it has a lot to do with this senior class. I can't, you know, say enough about them and the way they've been leaders. And like I said, it gets back to buying in, and you know, them, I think it carries over on the field when you believe in each other, you know. And it's been good so far. Hopefully we can, you know, go further.
We want to go ahead and thank Coach Hilton for being on the show, and I want to, you know, recognize that, you know, both teams have a good game. Walker and Scotlandville High School. I've got gifts for Ken Berthelot and Coach Hilton, and I've got the shirts, right, Coach? You've got a shirt from me, but there's another one. I know you got one last year, but
really appreciate it.
Superior Grill gift certificate, guys.
Hey, man, we love that. We eat a Superior Grill.
Good for New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
We eat
not in Shreveport, but
all the time.
Baton Rouge and New Orleans. But guys, appreciate you being on the show. Stick around. We've got your 2 stars coming up next that have been watching you do your segment. And I think they're been talking, Coach, about watching every move or what you're going to say about the team. But we'll also talk more about your team with your 2 players when we come back. Stay tuned. We've got 2 great recruits coming up from Scotlandville High School. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
State Farm agents Adam McCarty and Gonzalez and Derek Morrell in New Orleans are there for you. Call today.
If you're looking for the gear you need in the colors you bleed, then make your first stop Co-op. Much more than just a bookstore. Co-op has the largest selection of LSU merchandise for the whole family, including tailgating supplies, LSU clothing and accessories, great gifts, and a whole lot more. Stop in or order online for the best prices on art supplies, school supplies, and textbooks. The Co-op Bookstore, where you'll always find the gear you need in the colors you bleed.
Have you made the right call?
I made the right call.
It's easy to do. Just touch the tones.
I made the right call.
If you want to talk to the pros, you've got to make the right call.
I made the right call.
It's not that kind of call. I'm talking about the professionals at Gage Telephone. From excellent products like Toshiba to great service after the sale, make the right call. Gage Telephone, 753-4243.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. And for over 35 years, ITI has been a leader in technical education here in Baton Rouge.
ITI's medical division offers hands-on training in 3 new medical programs: medical billing and coding, medical management, and medical assistant. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available.
So let ITI help you discover a better life. Call now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat everyone from three-point shooters to three-piece suits, now with 7 locations to serve you. If your doctor recommends physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, the physical therapy choice of basketball players, businessmen, and everyone in between.
Hey, go check out LAFootballMagazine.com. Again, story every day on a recruit, and I'm actually going to start shooting some live interviews that you can watch video-wise of recruits that we don't interview in an interview. You'll see me tape talking about all their abilities and recruiting, who's the top recruits by city. We've got 2 great recruits right now from Scotlandville High School, 2 guys that I've written about a lot on my website. You can go back to archives and see it on LAFootballMagazine.com. Henry Taylor, star linebacker. Scotlandville runs a 4.5 40. Believe me, this guy runs a 4.5. He's 6 foot and some change, 215, 20 pounds. If he ate a hamburger or whatever, he might have gained a couple of pounds. I might be off. I'll ask him. Condandre Domino is one of the great slot guys in the city, both seniors. And I will say this, remember this show, these 2 guys can play for anybody in the United States. You know, legit D1 guys. Glad to have you on, Domino. Taylor, I'm going to start with you, okay? You're the slot guy. You're the speed guy.
Yes, sir.
There's maybe 3 players I've seen on film in the whole state that look 4.4. And I think looking 4.4 on film is as important as being timed 4.4. It's how you look in pads, not in helmet and shorts at a camp, right? But in pads, you look 4.4. Yes, and you told me you do run 4.4.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's fast. Where do you want to go to college? I mean, who's your dream school?
My dream school would be Miami.
The U, right?
The U.
All right, and besides Miami, realistically, who do you like right now that you're talking to?
Realistically, I like Troy and ULL, and of course, Louisiana Tech.
And I think you can play at Miami. The only problem is they have a lot of speed in Miami.
Yes, sir.
And the only thing Miami, and I talk to the coaches there, they don't recruit speed outside of Miami because there's 100 skill guys a year that run 4.5 in Miami. Yes, it's amazing. Henry, linebacker. I see you on special teams for 2 years. You go down and make tackles. You run faster than some of the corners on your team. You're a 4.5 guy in the 40.
Yes, sir.
Was it off on your weight or pretty close? 210, 215?
205, 205, yes, sir.
But solid and athletic, and you hit people.
Yes, sir.
You don't just run well. I mean, on film, you actually go after people. So, did you have that when you were in Little League? I mean, were you a hitter, or is that something that came on in high school for you? Was that a natural gift?
Started in middle school, right? So, yes, sir.
Because I noticed you read and react,
yes, sir.
And you hit. And I see guys all the time that run 4.5, but they don't read and react like you. I mean, you explode. Herman Lathers, for the audience watching in our 3 areas of Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Herman Lathers played at Scotlandville. He sat out this year with Tennessee, preseason All-American. I think you're way ahead of Herman Lathers. You ever talk to Herman since he's from the old high school?
Yeah, someone we can visit and work out a little bit. Yes, sir.
I mean, keep working hard, and you got a chance to be as good as this guy. And he was all SEC last year for Tennessee. What position, Domino, are you going to play in college? You could be a slot receiver, You could be a running back. You could be a corner. Does it matter?
I'm leaning to slot receiver.
Because you want the ball in your hands?
Yes, sir.
Like a Percy Harvin?
Yes, sir.
Which you remind me of locally, of a Percy.
Yeah.
Who do you like playing against the most? What team locally?
I like playing against McKinley because it's a big rivalry game. Scotlandville versus McKinley is always a great crowd, great atmosphere.
You know a lot of the players?
Yes, sir.
Leonard Tillery's pretty good on that team,
yes,
and Mayweather and all those guys. But who do you like to play, Herman? I mean, I'm calling you Herman. Henry.
I gotta say McKinley too.
Same thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you played McKinley this year, right?
Yes, sir.
And what was the final score?
27-26, I believe.
And who won?
We won.
By a point.
By a point.
How many fans were there, if you were guessing?
Man, filled up.
Stadium's filled.
10,000, 9,000?
Easily 10,000.
Yes, sir.
Very emotional.
Yeah, very emotional.
Know a lot of people, though, on the team.
Bragging rights.
All right, playoffs. What's your goals, real quick, Dominic? What's your goals for this season, for the playoffs?
My playoff goal is just to stay positive, help my team, advance in the playoffs, make big plays for my team, come up big, because big players make big-time plays when they need it. So, yeah, just to help my team.
And, Henry, we didn't ask you about your teams, but you said you like Louisiana Tech a lot. Why do you like Louisiana Tech?
Because it ain't got a lot of, distractions. It's just football.
Small town, you like the low-key.
Yes, sir.
Does Terry Bradshaw and all that stuff help, too?
Yes, sir. When I went to visit.
You saw what I was talking about?
Yes, sir.
It's like you walking into his room with all his trophies from the Steelers. But guys, I've got T-shirts for you after the show from our magazine. I want to wish you the best of luck. I know you got Walker this Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Is it a home game or away game?
It's an away game.
At Walker High School. You got Colton Perkins. Home game. Okay, you got to get that right now. And Henry, any way to prepare for Colton Perkins, who one of the great athletes locally?
Keep doing what I do. Work hard. Yes, sir. That's it. Keep working hard. Watch film.
And 4.5 in the 40. I mean, is that you were always fast growing up? Always?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, I think you could play safety still.
Anything, as long as I can hit people.
Two of the best players in not just Baton Rouge, but in the state of Louisiana, guys. We'll get you those shirts. Good luck to you this Friday night. And your team, well, Joshua Freeman is a good O-lineman on your team, a senior.
Yes, sir.
And you've got some Larry Clark and a bunch of other players that are real good. Kamani Smith, your quarterback. We'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Every Tuesday night, 6:30 live on Cox 4. Tonight, the replay's at 10:30, and you can see it on our other networks. Ken Berthelot had mentioned that earlier. We'll see you next week.